Hey YouTube, Sandra Expeditions here. Welcome back to my channel. So today I want to do a video about my experience at Afrotech 2024, as well as my experience last year at Afrotech 2023. I want to just give a little bit more information about a typical experience at Afrotech. I wanted to dispel some of the myths that I've been seeing on TikTok, on Instagram, on Threads, on YouTube, as someone who actually went. And yeah, and by the way, I don't do videos about tech on this channel, but this will be like the first and last video because I didn't really know where else to post it. And on my other platforms, people I know follow me, so I just wanted to just keep it here. But anyways, so yeah. All right, so if you don't know, I'm like a software engineer. I've been a software engineer at my company for about 5 years. I've been programming since 2015, and I went to Afrotech to network and to meet other like-minded individuals, not really to look for another job, even though there's one other company that I was interested in there that if given the opportunity, I'll make my move. But yeah, I really just went there to, just connect with other people at my company and other people in the tech space. And yeah, I also went with probably 7 other women. Of the 7 women, one of them wasn't in tech. The other 5 were. They all worked at big tech companies or my company. And they were engineers and one was like a PM for the most part. So yeah. All right, let's get started. I made like a little list of things that came to mind. So I'm going to talk about the positives and the negatives of my experience at Afrotech and just in general. So the main thing that I love about Afrotech is just the great vibes. The people, it feels like a very supportive, familial environment. There's just good energy, good people, and people are very open. They're just happy to be there. They're happy to see you. I guess a reason could be because, a lot of us are very rare at our companies. It's not common to see another Black person at our company. At my company, we're probably only 1%. Black, 2% max. But I do know a lot of Black people only because, I'm part of the Black ERGs, and also because there are hundreds of us at my company, but I make an effort to go out of my way to meet other people. So a lot of my friends are engineers who are Black. So that's been a plus. But for the most part, a lot of people who work in smaller companies or medium-sized companies don't really have that opportunity. So that's one of the best benefits of Afrotech, because you just get to connect with people who look like you, who understand, just your culture, who, you don't have to worry about microaggressions or, just, I don't know, just we get kind of the best of both worlds. We get to fulfill our technical itch, but at the same time are also our culture. So I just love that. Also, I realized this year, a lot of the recruiters and a lot of the people who represent different companies, whether they were a recruiter or not, if they had a booth or some type of, I don't know, table to discuss to discuss the roles at their company, I realized that a lot of these people spent a lot of quality time with each person. If you went to the expo hall, you would realize that you would be waiting in line forever because everyone ahead of you will literally get a good 10 minutes of Q&A sessions. And I saw this when I was in line at Netflix, the Netflix line in the expo hall. I also saw this at Google up to 8 p.m. At the Google kickback, the nighttime one. There were people there answering questions. I would be tired. Their voices were cracked and they were still going in. And you can tell that they really just wanted to be supportive and they really wanted to encourage people to come join their company. So I really liked that. There was also free merch. I didn't get merch like other people because oh, by the way, this year I didn't have a ticket. I wasn't sponsored by my team. Last year I was. But this year I got a free ticket by a friend's friend. This guy I met at my meditation retreat, his friend gave me his ticket because his friend had an extra ticket. So I ended up finally going to the expo hall on the second day, and I got a bunch of bags. I got this from Netflix, this from Uber with my initials, and then this from OpenAI. I got 2 of those. So yeah. a lot of people got much cooler merch. I saw people getting full blown like hair products, and just Pokemon was giving out a lot of stuff. Also, people actually find jobs. I know some people on the internet like to say, oh, Afrotech is just a party, da 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 da. Nah, people literally find jobs. In fact, I know people who've gotten jobs from Afrotech. I know one person, not one person, but yeah, I know literally one of my friends who I literally talk to her like almost every single day. She got a job offer from Afrotech last year. She was unemployed for a year. She went to Afrotech, they interviewed her, she got a job, point blank period, on the spot. And she went again this year because she wants to get another job, and she made so many connections, and she has a lot of really great leads. So that's really somebody that I know who got a job there. And I saw other people. Like last year, I was rooming with this other lady that I met, and she met a guy who got 2 job offers at Afrotech because they were doing interviews on the spot. And so you could upload your resume like ahead of time, and like companies will reach out to you, and you can prep like, you know, for algorithms or just like whatever. Like even if you don't do the interview like on the spot, you'll make connections there, and they'll like set up an interview for you at some point. Like they'll do like the behavioral, and then you can like do the algorithmic portion or whatever your role is. Like not everyone is a software engineer, but my friend was a software engineer. So yeah, so people literally find jobs at Afrotech, and not even just jobs, just like leads, just like career advice. Like you see these tables. And this year, from my gathering from all of our team chats, because my company is a big company, before Afrotech even started, we had a whole Afrotech chat like 2 months out, like 2 months before the event. There's like 400 plus of us like in this group, right? So I've noticed that post Afrotech compared to last year, this year has just been like positive comments. Like no one has anything bad to say because Afrotech really like made the mark this year. Like last year, people had things to say. It was like a big party. That's what some people were saying. It was a big party. They felt like Afrotech didn't really have the technical portion. They weren't really respecting like having actual technical speakers come in, like Black technical speakers, more so like celebrities. Like why do we have like so many celebrities, you know, who aren't even in tech or are tech adjacent? So that was like a lot of the feedback. Versus this year, there were like hackathons. There were like a lot more technical talks and that sort of thing. And last year, when I had my ticket, like the first day, I would go to like every single booth. I went to like FBI people. I went to like all the other companies. And like I said, it was more so casual because I wasn't like everyone at Afrotech is there for a different reason. Some people are there. A lot of people are students. Like half the people are students, so they're looking for like jobs and stuff like that. A lot of us are professionals. They're trying to transition to other companies, get a better job, or just, you know, just to explore. Like for me, I'm not really trying to look for another job, but I'm open to like being sold, you know. So that's why when OpenAI sent me an email, you know, for an invite, I was like, okay, I almost wasn't gonna go, but now I'm glad I did. And now I'm like, I'm still thinking about it, but you know, what's the harm in like interviewing? You know, they like the event that I went to was really great, and actually it really sparked my interest in OpenAI, you know, after that OpenAI ChatGPT. So yeah, all right, let me see if there's any negatives. Oh, actually there are negatives. First of all, I don't think Afrotech should be in Houston. I think it should be in Austin. Austin was great. One of the main things I liked about having it in Austin is that Austin is so white that every Black person you saw at Afrotech in Austin was like a 99% chance that they were there for Afrotech. Versus Houston, it's like you're like asking people like, "Are you here for Afrotech?" Typically, the answer would be yes, but a lot of the times it was also no. Like they were just Houstonites. And I feel like it honestly makes sense to have it in Austin because Austin is a tech city. And yeah, it's a tech city. So it literally makes sense to have it in Austin. Like they're saying that Afrotech is getting bigger and bigger each year. But what is it getting bigger for? Which is going to go to my next point my next point is that I am, as a techie, I am a little disappointed that there aren't please don't give me smoke, because I realized that like I'm probably going to be like ruffling feathers because a lot of Black people in tech aren't really technical. But as a Black person who is technical, you know, for myself and others, like if I didn't have my friends or like, you know, worked at my company and worked at like some random company, I would feel some type of way like going to an event. Actually, I still feel some type of way. Like going to Afrotech and realizing that not that many Black people are actually like technical. Like what I didn't appreciate is that a lot of times when people ask me what I do and I say I'm a software engineer, people are literally like, oh my gosh. And I literally get those reactions at my company. Like at my company, people, because they see a Black woman, they're like, they assume I'm in some like business role or HR or sales, you know, some of those like the supporting roles of software engineers, if that makes sense. And so I feel like, so I don't know, if I feel like going to Afrotech, only like 1 in 3 women, Black women that I met actually had like a technical role, like cybersecurity or PM or software engineer or like actual tech role versus some other random role. Especially, it was even worse when people weren't in tech, period. Like I met some people who were lawyers, influencers, nurses, just the most random careers, like who didn't work at a tech company. Like it's one thing if you have an interest in tech and you want to transition, but don't just show up to Afrotech just for the vibes of the party. I low-key feel like that's I feel like that's gentrifying, if I have to be honest, because a lot of us Black techies don't even have a place to go. And so then even in the Black professional space, we're a rarity. So can you imagine if we get like infiltrated by like all these other random people from different careers over time, and it's just like, once again, we're already marginalized like in tech in itself, and on top of that, for it to be at Afrotech, I feel some type of way about that. Yeah, and also like 2/3 of guys also like, actually 2/3 of guys I met were technical, 1/3 of women were technical. If I have to like guesstimate, and I was talking to a lot of people, so maybe my numbers are off, maybe it's just me, but I even had like other Black people at my company tell me like, yeah, to be honest, like when Black people are in tech, they're typically like not in like the technical roles, which makes me feel some type of way about that, but it's another discussion. Yeah, I was gonna say something else, I forgot. But yeah, if you have an interest in tech, definitely come like for real, like real tech people. Like if you have a real interest in tech, because this is a safe space. And yeah, also a lot of people, actually, this isn't really a negative. Consultants, I don't know, yeah. Oh, one guy I met last year, I remember we were at like one of the partner events. Let me just say this. So this year I didn't go with a ticket because what I realized from last year is that I didn't spend that much time like in the actual conference. Most of my time, 75% of my time, was outside the conference at the partner events. So that's why this year I was like, there's really no point in getting a ticket anyway, because there's just so many things to do at Afrotech. Like just so many stuff. Like the partner events themselves, you know, with the Google kickback and the different companies like the Figma mixer and the Microsoft mixer, and you know, every company has their mixer like Amex and like Zillow and just all these people. So anyways, last year I was outside of like, I think the Zillow mixer, and I'm talking to this guy and I'm like, yeah, so like what do you do? You know, we're like going back and forth, and he's like, yeah, I work in security. So I'm thinking like he works in cybersecurity or something like that. So I'm asking more questions, and he's like, oh no, I work in like, I'm a security guard. And I'm just like, the deception. But I just thought that was so funny. I would never forget that, because people just be telling me, oh yeah, I'm in media. Yeah. Also, Austin was better too, because, oh my gosh, everything in Houston is freaking far away. I was at the Google Kickback event and I had to take a $55 Uber, I wasn't sponsored, all the way to OpenAI. I almost didn't go because it was 30 minutes away. 30 minutes away. So many things, even the after parties, the events were all far away from each other. Like if one vibe wasn't fitting, in Austin, if we were at one party and it was like just okay or whatever, or one event, we would just walk to the next one. Because in Austin, there's like one main street where all the events are. So it was easy to just like go to every single event and just leave it. And just literally everything was walking distance for the most part. But like in Houston, it we had to drive like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. Like, that's just a little, Houston is way too big. Like, if you're going to do this conference, everything, including the partner events, need to be near each other. But I do love Houston. Like, I'm in New York, but I'm actually considering like maybe like spending more time in Houston, like whether if it's for the winter or something like that. Because I went to this brunch called like Chapman and Kirby, and it really like showed me like how lit Houston can be and how amazing people were. Like, people were just like so nice and just so cool. I mostly saw like Afro techies, but there were just regular people there too, like regular locals, I guess. And it was just so cool. And the vibes were crazy. I just loved it. Like, I was there alone. I just met so many cool people. So, yeah, let me make sure I get everything. Because also, I saw this man on YouTube, make a whole video. He's one of them, like, misogynist podcasters. He made a whole video about how Black women are going to these events, who aren't even in tech, to meet Black men and stuff like that. And I honestly, first of all, I didn't like the fact that he made this video, because I just can't stand this whole like gender war with, the incels versus normal people. And just like the hate, like, I mean, the comments, and I'm like, all y'all people sound so unhinged. Like, y'all never met women before, or just other people. Like, I'm just reading the comments looking for a sane comment. Like, there's like hundreds, and I'm like, where's a normal comment that I can read? And I didn't like that he like put that out there, because then in other videos you had like his followers like messaging under other comments about how like, you guys I didn't want to put this in this video, but they were like, all these women who rejected these guys in their youth, all of a sudden now they're successful, they want to come and like, date these men or whatever. And I'm just like, first of all, if you've been to Afrotech, or if you work in tech, period, I feel like, in my opinion, Black men in tech do not look like your average tech bro. Like, I lived in Seattle. I spent a good amount of time in SF. I feel like Black men in tech look like the same guys that I grew up with. They are just as attractive as like, when I'm at Afrotech, it's a little too much. Like, those people are just beautiful. I doubt these people had a problem, whether when they were in school getting women and now getting women. Like, it's just, I feel like they've been blessed their whole life, it must seem, because people at Afrotech are just so beautiful. But regardless, I see nothing wrong with going to Afrotech to find a partner, because even for me, I prefer dating people in tech, or just like-minded people. Like, I don't know, I feel like when you're in tech, you kind of have your own language. Like, you understand each other, and it's just, I don't know, it's like a common interest, if that makes sense. And you kind of want to date someone who is like you. And I don't know, I realized in my experience that things just run smoothly when you're partnered up with someone who's also in your field, or at least an adjacent field. And also, like, why wouldn't you want a man like that? Like, whether man or woman, like, you want someone who shares your values, who is like super smart. People in tech are like smart. They're like, literally, like, our lifestyles are so similar. Like, when I meet techies, like, we almost like have the same lifestyle for the most part, and the same like economic flexibility, and just like, I don't know, similar upbringing and that sort of thing. So I see nothing wrong with wanting to date people who work in tech. Like, people make great salaries, they're beautiful, you get everything that you want. Like, and yeah, this is like literally more Black generational wealth. Like, why wouldn't you want that? Like, so I just feel like people are just being negative just for no reason. So if you want to, first of all, if you're going to go to Afrotech to find somebody, make sure you're in tech though. Like, not some random, I already told y'all I don't like random people at Afrotech, but at least be in tech, or be interested in tech. Don't literally just come just to find a guy in tech or a woman in tech, Oh, also advice, I recommend you, I recommend that you come early, like come on Tuesday, don't come on Wednesday, because you kind of want to get settled in. And with Afrotech, things ramp up really quickly, and it's such a huge like social environment. So you want to, like, before things get like too wild, I guess, you kind of want to like be there early so that you're able to like network easier before people start making their clicks and everything like that. And before people are maybe fatigued, you kind of want to like get them early. And also, don't be afraid of coming alone. I realized that when I was alone, because a lot of the times this year and last year, like last year I was with my girlfriends, right? And we're always in groups. So like one of our guy friends at the company was like, y'all look intimidating. Yeah, y'all always in groups, just separate. And that was the first time where it kind of like stuck out in my head because I'm like, you know what? Maybe nobody's approaching us because we're literally always in groups. So I remember I was at events and I realized when I'm alone, that's when like people come up and talk to me. And even still, I go up to people when they're alone. Like I met this girl at the Chapman and Kirby event and I literally like connected her with someone at my company for her exact role that she was looking for. So literally like when you come alone and when you are alone, that's when people are more open to like coming to you. Like literally like when I was at the Chapman and Kirby event, within like a 20-minute span, I had 2 different people just come up to me and just talk to me. And then same, I saw a guy and I saw that he was alone and I just went up to him and I just started talking to him. I saw these other 2 guys, I just went up to them. They were together and I was just talking to them and I just like, you're more open when you're alone. So anyways, let me know if you have any questions or comments about Afrotech. I feel like I still kind of like forgot some stuff, but I had a great time. I love Afrotech. I'll be there every year. I'm going to try to go to other conferences, like Black tech conferences, but also non-Black tech conferences. Like maybe like I'm really into like cybersecurity and hacking, so I might go to like Hope again. I went there a few years ago. Now that I know that like I could really, now that I'm in the field, because I honestly, I'm a 9-to-5er. Like I don't really like to talk about technology outside of work, but I realize it's still fun to, you know, meet people occasionally in tech, especially Black people, honestly, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna try to like go to more conferences and just meet more people. Like networking is very important. Like, and tech has so much money. Like those events, it was unlimited. The amount of like open bars, I forget sometimes. Like these are multi-billion, trillion-dollar companies. Like they have so much money. So obviously tech events, people are balling out. It's a shame that my team didn't sponsor me because first of all, my company has a lot of money, like billions. So they have no excuse. Anyways, I hope you all have a great day. Ciao, ciao. Que tenga buen día. Adios.